Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm here with the Lower Fate Grand Order, Salem, right? So yeah, basically Salem won, I think like, yeah, 60% actually, right? So yeah, basically finally won, right? And then there is something else I might look at. It might not be Friday, actually, it might be pretty soon, actually, and if not, it'll just be next Friday, right? But something that goes along with this or something else, right? That I should just might as well watch, right? To know the story of that. But yeah, I gotta look back at it because I know someone made a comment of that, right? Um, but yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much about it. So I don't got much else to say. So yeah, let's just look at Salem here, right? Actually, yeah, I've been wanting to see this as well, right? Since I saw like little glimpses of it, right? But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys will enjoy. Make sure to like, subscribe, and yeah, let's get this reaction started.
Took what they gave me, did all the favors, they never repay me. It worked in my favor, cause nobody
brand new whip, got no keys. Tell them my clothes, no starch, please. Soon as you can go leave. Got M's in the bank like yes, indeed. Caldea glasses, I won't even Pikachu. Yellow Ferrari like Pikachu. I got him waiting and watching what he gon' do. Tryna pee what I do, tryna steal my moves. 2500 for a new pair of tennis shoes, the same price.
Welcome back to Otaku Daikun. Dai here.
You guys see,
It's
here we
time
go
to
with
continue our lore of Fate Grand Order.
yep,
Finally
Salem.
finishing off the sub-arc Epic
Okay.
Remnant.
Oh yeah, real quick. So basically, like, yeah, the last one in what was it, Seraph, right? I'm gonna try and do half of this. So yeah, I'm gonna do 18 minutes this part and then 18 minutes the second part. Cause I mean, yeah, I know it's 36 minutes and I could do that, but yeah, I just want to make sure I have enough time to do some other stuff, right? So yeah, sorry about that, but yeah, just do 2 parts again this time. But yeah, it'll just be out like real quick, like the other one. Yeah, like literally probably like tomorrow or Sunday, right? But yeah, I just had to say that though, right?
After the chaotic tale that was
but yeah,
Shimosa, we'll be moving on to something that I
see.
personally find a bit easier to digest, which for Fate isn't really saying anything. After all, this final singularity, Salem.
So yeah, I can see, yeah, we're gonna be looking at that girl a lot, right? Or no, finding out about her, right?
The cosmic horror of author H.P. Lovecraft. While I'm no expert in Lovecraftian lore, I know enough to say that his horror stories draw their fear from creatures so terrifying they surpass mortal comprehension. Like, it's basically impossible for humans to interact with said creatures without going
For real?
insane.
Okay.
Sure, they have flesh and can die in a traditional sense, but this only provides us a basic understanding of their true might and complete existence. By far the most famous Lovecraftian creature happens to be Cthulhu,
yeah.
which we generally see depicted as a kind of octopus-like sea monster. Beyond that, however, Lovecraft has an entire fictional mythos dedicated to such creatures, which Fate refers to as outer gods. More specifically in Fate, Lovecraft's works are considered to be valid testimony of things that certainly do exist. The idea is that, rather than writing works of creative fiction, Lovecraft was actually documenting visions he had of outer gods, which exist in other universes, not even included in all that parallel world stuff I was talking about in Shimosa. In other words, take everything you know about the Nasuverse, and then wrap it up in an outer layer of Lovecraftian influence. This is relevant because Raum, this chapter's fugitive demon god pillar, aims to summon an outer god as part of his plans.
Oh yeah, okay. I was trying to think like, yeah, who is that? Right? I remember seeing
All the
him
demon
though.
gods gathered as Getia
Yeah, it just
in order
looked
to save
familiar.
humanity by essentially wiping history clean and starting again with an improved design. Deep down, the demon gods felt that they were doing the right thing, and Raum is no different. That said, his idea of human salvation is especially twisted. Essentially, Raum feels that humans are defined by pain. That is, we are most human when we're suffering punishment for our sins.
Okay.
His goal then is to establish
So yeah,
a
basically
situation
showing the
where all
most
of humanity
emotion
is
and all
punished
that, I
eternally,
guess.
and he wants the help of the outer god Soot Typhon to do it. Lovecraft fans may better know this god as Yog-Sothoth, the Gate, or the All-in-One, the One-in-All. This god is said to lie beyond 7 gates, those being up, down, left, right, front, back, and a final gate where light can never reach. It's thought that Soot Typhon can unite all of humanity so that they can experience the same punishment together. Raum, being very particular about his goal for humanity, needed to pick a venue for the summoning, and the perfect place happened to be Salem, Massachusetts, specifically in the year 1692. Historically, this was when the Puritans, an extreme branch of English Protestants, crossed the ocean to avoid oppression from the Church of England. They sought a place where they could worship God through virtuous poverty, while fearing devilish temptation. The Puritans reached the New World, what is now the United States, and settled in the town of Salem. Unfortunately, What should have been a faithful, virtuous colony became a living hellscape.
Yeah, I
the
can
people
already
of
see
Salem
that.
feared the devil so much that they accused each other of witchcraft, resulting
Oh,
in
and
the
then they,
nightmarish Salem witch trials.
yeah, they just
It was
kept
a
on killing
year-long
each other.
endeavor that resulted in 200 arrests and 22 deaths. 19 of these victims were hanged at the gallows, charged with being possessed by demons. To Raum, it was a pivotal time in which humans were at a crossroads between superstition and modernity. But even more importantly, it was when a young girl named
Okay, so
Abigail
yeah, here we go.
Williams lived.
Abigail. Oh, Abigail.
was
Okay, so that's
famously
who it
one of the
is.
first girls in the village to exhibit seizures that the people ultimately blamed on demonic possession. Many consider her to be the spark that ignited the witch trials. Despite the death of her parents, Abigail remained an optimistic girl who never failed to give thanks to God through prayer. At the age of 12, she was innocent, sensitive, and naive, doing her best to obey her uncle. It's because of this innocent nature of hers that Raum entrusts her with being the harbinger of Soot Typhon, a vessel capable of wielding the Rosarium de Clavis Argentius. This silver key was an artifact that was created through magecraft and thought to be lost to time. While it has no literal lock to open, it instead opens the door to the boundary beyond which Soot Typhon presides. The key only responds to the innocent, those who possess the heart of a child.
Oh, yeah, but it'd be
Abigail
perfect for
ideal
her,
as a
right?
child with
Yeah.
a mystic connection to dark magic. You know, the kind of creepy shit our power
Okay.
is into.
Yeah.
In other words, Abigail had a natural
Oh,
talent
and-
for opening dimensional
Yeah, definitely
gates,
changed
and
there,
Raum could
right?
Use her as a vessel for Soot
Oh
Typhon.
wait, oh no, you can literally see a
This
key, or
initiative
yeah,
is
like a
surrounding
keyhole
the
right there on the
modern Salem,
forehead.
Massachusetts, with a bounded field, isolating it as a singularity fueled by Salem's 50,000 residents. Within, he summoned Abigail Williams as a pseudo-servant meant to be inhabited by Soot Typhon, giving us one of our first foreigner-class servants. Caldea labels such servants foreigners because, as the name implies, they either come from or derive power from other worlds.
Okay, so
Despite
yeah,
the
that
horrible
foreigner
events of the witch
class.
trials, Abigail was kind and saw the good in people. She was trusting in that things such as sorcery weren't a sign of the devil, and that people could be forgiven for their sins. Raum manipulated this good nature of hers, urging her to summon into his singularity the residents of 17th century Salem.
Okay, yeah,
Then, he would
she
reenact
turned
the
from
witch
being
trials,
innocent to
offering up
what
the
this
hanged
is right
victims as
here.
sacrifices to open Soot Typhon's
Oh, and
gates.
is that another eye too?
Simultaneously,
Actually,
Raum would push
okay.
Abigail into hating humans, grooming her to believe that humanity deserves eternal punishment.
Yep, and then that's when she
When
really
his first
changed,
attempts
right?
failed, he would simply consume the mana
Or-
from Salem's
oh.
modern-day hostages and start anew, resurrecting the trial's participants as ghouls. He toyed with the dead, raising them from the grave and masking their hideous impulses, and as he did so, his singularity began to grow at an unprecedented rate. This process did not go unnoticed, as the singularity was picked up by Caldea's near-future observation lens, Sheba. This lens, created by Lev Liner, good riddance, was named after the mythical queen of the kingdom of Sheba. In legend, the Queen of Sheba was a wise and wealthy ruler who was known for her clairvoyance, to the point where she graciously entertained King Solomon in a contest of wits. Some myths claim the two actually got married. Either way, her love for him was genuine, and her wish as a heroic spirit was to protect the world Solomon strove to build. As the daughter of a mortal man and a djinn, the queen was born a powerful half-blood and talented mage. Her clairvoyance in particular inspired the naming of Caldea's lens, and as a result, she unintentionally syncs with the Sheba lens when peering into the future. This unique and bizarre connection allowed the lens to tap into Caldea's fate system and summon the Queen of Sheba into the singularity as the caster of Midrash. Her presence in the singularity helped slow its expansion at the cost of her strength as a servant. When Raum saw this, he decided to take advantage of the Queen of Sheba's weakness.
Oh wait, hold on, wait. Let me see real quick. I just reading this real quick. Okay. Yeah, I just went. Okay, so oh no, that's okay. Yeah, Abigail, right there. I'm guessing. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because yeah, her hands couldn't go through her own clothes, right? So yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, I just wanted to
Forced her
read that though
perform
real
in his
quick though.
reenactment. He made her believe she was actually Tituba, the slave belonging to Abigail's uncle. This saved Raum the trouble of reviving the actual Tituba, which helped him, considering that by the 5th reenactment of the witch trials, the singularity was running out of mana, and events still hadn't played out as he intended. After all this time enduring as Raum's pawn, Abigail wished for a friend, so for the next iteration of the trials, he summoned forth a fictional family from Lovecraft's writings, the Whateleys. In Lovecraft's
Okay.
works, the Whateleys were held
Yeah, I don't know about
Soot
that.
Typhon using their family's grimoire, the Book of Ibon. Raum figured that by summoning them, he could provide Abigail with a friend, while further provoking the awakening of Soot Typhon. Raum prevents the Whateleys from escaping, and demands that they work toward their pursuit of summoning the Outer God. Over time, the family was forced to believe that they truly did live in Salem, making them an integral part of Raum's plan. The family's daughter, Lavinia, befriended Abigail as she wanted.
Hugo
the two
and
of them enjoyed
Migo?
gazing at the
Okay.
stars. Abigail would show Lavinia the whales in the ocean, and Lavinia would show her the family's dark magecraft. Of course, given their blasphemy, the Whateleys were hated by the rest of Salem, causing Lavinia to distance herself from Abby, hoping to keep her safe. To further intervene in the Singularity's events, Raum sought a disguise, and found one by stealing another man's body. As it turns out, just as there exist outer gods as seen through Lovecraft's visions, there also exists a man who pursues those gods. Chandraputra, the gentleman who travels through time and space, is often thought of as a self-insert character of Lovecraft's. In fate, he is a man whose ancestors were from Salem, and upon sensing Abigail's power, he ventured there to meet her. Before he could, however, Chandraputra found himself occupied by another matter, the presence of a separate outer god, Cthulhu. I think that's fair. Cthulhu's kind of a big deal after all. In an attempt to chase after Cthulhu, Chandraputra went into a deep sleep, leaving his actual body completely vulnerable. So he's off trying to deal with an incident regarding another foreigner servant, Hokusai. And during this time, Raum takes control of his body and uses it to play the role of Randolph Carter, Abigail's uncle. Of course, not her real uncle, even going by a different name. Naturally, this is a lot to take in, so let's break it down before moving forward.
Okay, so
The escaped demon god Raum
yeah,
wants to
Raum.
continue Getia's will by summoning Soot Typhon. To do that, he creates a singularity centered on present-day Salem, Massachusetts, wherein he recreates the Salem witch trials of the 17th century. Abigail Williams, the innocent girl thought to have been the spark of these trials, serves as a perfect vessel through which to summon Soot Typhon. The Queen of Sheba makes her way inside, but is confined to playing the role of Abigail's slave, and Abigail's desire for a friend resulted in the fictional Whately family being mixed into the whole mess. Using a stolen body, Raum pretends to be Abigail's uncle Randolph, and continues to repeat the witch trials until the door to Soot Typhon finally opens. Sadly, as the singularity runs out of mana, Raum becomes desperate, and that's where we get involved. Caldea, for lack of better words, is in a bit of a bind. While Marisbury Animasphere had established Caldea mostly through the funds earned from Fuyuki's Grail War, he still
okay,
built the
so,
facility while cooperating with
but definitely
both the
some new
United
characters
Nations
there.
and the Mages Association. All of its facilities and functions, such as ray shifting, typically require the approval of these organizations to proceed. Obviously,
Demon
the
God
incineration of
pillars,
humanity was an
okay.
emergency situation, but now that humanity is restored, interested parties are butting in to assess and control the facility. As such, when Caldea picks up on the singularity as a dark void overtaking Salem, Da Vinci detects that its source is a demon god pillar, the last of them in fact. When she receives approval to send in Ritska, she surmises it'll be the last use of the ray-shifting system before Caldea is overrun with bigwigs from the Association and Holy Church. Furthermore, they've already shut down Caldea's generator, limiting the number of servants Ritska can
Geronimo?
bring along
Okay.
for the
Yeah,
mission.
just trying to remember them.
Research into the singularity
Right, since
reveals
I haven't
that
seen them
Ritska
at all
cannot bring
before.
technology made later than the 17th century, as photos of inside the bounded field reveal the period they're about to enter. This leaves Ritska in a fairly dangerous
Oh
position.
yeah, Edison. Yeah, I
We
already
need to
know
be
about
careful
him.
about whom we take along. The plan is to send the party in as a troupe of traveling performers. This alibi will help us blend in despite our diverse roster of servants. Shakespeare and Hans Christian Andersen are consulted to write the material for our backstories, as well as the plays we can perform for Salem's people. While certain American servants come to mind, we can't exactly bring them. Edison, for one, is a friggin' lion, and Geronimo wouldn't do well considering the Puritans and Native Americans were enemies. Because of this, the party we actually go with is a lot more obscure. Starting off, we have Robin Hood, whom we introduced in the American Singularity. He's pretty reliable and level-headed, so his inclusion makes sense. Then we have Charles Henri Sanson, who we met in Orleans.
Okay, I'll just say Charles.
He's an interesting choice
Yeah.
because, as we know, he was an executioner manning the guillotines during the French Revolution. He still harbors regret for having ended the life of Marie Antoinette. At the very least, though, public executions aren't likely to faze him. The next choice, Mata Hari,
Oh, yeah, I already
makes
know
a lot
about
more
her.
sense. After all, in life, she was an exotic dancer. Her real name is Margareta Hertrada Zella, and at first, she started as the daughter of a wealthy family in the Netherlands. After a series of unfortunate hardships, she took on the stage name Matahari and sold herself as a dancer and prostitute. Upon entertaining military officials, she used her profession to be a spy between France and Germany. By the age of 41, however, she was caught and found guilty, blamed for various failed French operations, and executed by firing squad. Her ability to perform on stage, as well as gather intel, make her ideal for the mission. That is, except for the fact that she's hot as fuck, and Puritans are known for seeing sex as a form of evil temptation.
Yeah.
Salem is also our first main story introduction of Netza, Marshal of the Central Altar.
Oh, so
in
okay,
Chinese
first
legend.
of her,
Story
right? I mean, I already know
starts with
about her,
Netza,
but
a low-tier Hindu deity from Mount
Yeah.
Kunlun, born from a gem dropped by Taoist deity Taiyi Genren. In fate, Netza is a woman who means well, but as an immortal in the human realm, she grew up arrogant and violent. She was accused of polluting a river and bringing disaster to her human parents, leading to her killing her accusers and committing suicide. Afterward, she was reborn as the spirit of a lotus flower within the body of a doll made of palpei, or mystical Taoist instruments. In general, she fought against evil according to Buddhist principles, while using a variety of magical items, most notably her fire-tipped spear and wind fire wheels. She is the rival of Sun Wukong, a prominent figure in the Chinese epic Journey to the West. The last servant to join our excursion is, ironically, Medea.
Medea?
I say
Okay.
ironic because in legend, she was obviously feared as a witch for her magecraft, manipulated into committing a number of horrific deeds, such as dicing her brother into pieces for the sake of Jason of the Argonauts.
Okay.
It
Oh,
seems crazy to bring
Jason
a witch to the
Argonauts.
infamous witch trials, but apparently she's chosen for her ability to identify the use of magecraft within the singularity. I suppose that makes sense. Except as soon as Ritska's team ray shifts to Salem, Medea comes bolting into the room at Caldea, claiming that the Medea that just went with Ritska is an imposter.
Oh,
So who is this
okay.
mystery servant? Well, that'd be Circe, the queen witch. In Greek mythology, Circe was Medea's aunt and reluctant teacher. She's most famous for her role in Homer's Odyssey, in which she turned Odysseus' crew into animals. After taking a liking to him, though, she released the spell, sending him on his way to confront Scylla, a six-headed monster she'd made out of an ex-lover's mistress. She specializes in mixing magical drugs and poisons. At first, she has no intention of helping Caldea, so why is she even here? You see, when Da Vinci noticed that the Sheba lens was acting up, she looked into it, running some experiments that managed to summon Circe as a masterless servant. With none the wiser, Circe attempted to flee Caldea, only to realize it's in the freezing Arctic. So instead, feeling as though she were being called to Salem, she infiltrated the Ray Shift disguised as Medea. Another thing to note is that Mashu tags along with us, despite the fact that she no longer has Galahad's power. Having memorized all of the lines written for their troupe,
Okay,
however,
stop flirting
she
so
insists
early
on
in the
accompanying
morning.
Ritska to assist in performances. Cool. With that, it's time to actually cover what happens in this crazy singularity. Ritska's group arrives in a forest just outside of town, completely unaware of Raum's plan to summon an outer god. We're effectively in his trap, and while we're inside his bounded field, our servants lose most of their powers, a forced incarnation as they call it. They can't enter spirit form, and if they die, they lose all of their memories since joining Caldea. Furthermore, we're being manipulated
that's
by
definitely
Raum,
something
with
they
our
don't
perception
want,
of events
right?
deliberately obscured, so that we can't make rational decisions or discover the mastermind behind the trials. It's like we're being forced to just play along with the events, as though they were a play, which is clever considering they themselves are trying to masquerade as performers. For example, Mashu had memorized a list of names of Salem's residents during the trials, but being within the bounded field prevents her from remembering them. Otherwise, she would have quickly noted that there was never a Randolph Carter in the original Salem. Instead, we're left exploring the forest in the middle of the night, where we find Abigail teaching the other village girls how to dance in a ritual she'd learned from Lavinia. We observe the children having fun until they're attacked by wolves. When we step in to save them, Lavinia, who is also watching the ritual from a distance, witnesses us using strange powers. Of course, she is no stranger to magecraft, given her family history. With the wolves defeated, Abigail introduces herself, but not long after, Randolph Carter shows up and reprimands her for leading the other girls out to the forest at night. Abigail explains how we saved her, and so Randolph invites us to stay at his house as thanks. In the morning, we scope out the town and confirm that this Salem is a well-crafted fake. Sadly, at this point, we don't know it's all Randolph's doing. He's about to punish Tituba for Abigail's actions last night, accusing her of teaching the girls the ritual, but we managed to calm him down. Matahari and Sansun meet Lavinia in town. She threatens to tell the villagers about our use of magecraft, unless we promise not to tell Abigail she was watching them from the forest. We agree, while convincing her to come to our first performance.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
that's
a
the
group of
sister.
rowdy
Okay, yeah.
sailors are
Because
hanging out at
I'm
Salem's
like, yeah, she
tavern.
definitely seems
Gets us
familiar,
there,
right?
and one of
Yeah,
the
so you can
sailors
just see
feels
her
her.
eyes now,
She's
right? A
fine
little
with
bit
it
more.
until the guy starts bawling. That her small chest reminds him of his daughter he hasn't seen in ages.
For real?
This starts
Okay.
a fight that Ritska has to quell. Our efforts to blend into the town aren't going so well, so it comes down to our theater production to convince the villagers we're legit. That night, we put on a performance, rather conveniently about the Queen of Sheba's visit to King Solomon. She travels the desert with a procession of treasure and challenges Solomon with some riddles. The two exchange their wisdom and form a valuable bond. While the villagers seem to like our play, the fun is interrupted as the witch trials truly begin. Sadly, one of the girls from last night is sick, and her parents found a charm made by Tituba under her bed. Even though the girl stole this charm from Tituba, the ignorant villagers insist on accusing Tituba of witchcraft. As if things couldn't possibly get worse, the supreme douchebag Matthew Hopkins arrives in Salem, apparently being appointed the new head judge. Like Sansun, Hopkins is an executioner who torched
Oh,
many accused of
dang.
witchcraft at the
And
stake
yeah,
back
that's
in Europe.
definitely bad for
He
her,
pushes
right?
the witch narrative even further, having Tituba detained for interrogation. Not aware of the true nature of the singularity, we reluctantly decide to observe what happens. The next day, Medea, aka Circe, establishes a workshop at Randolph's home, hoping to deter the side effects.
Oh
of
yeah,
being in
the aunt,
singularity.
right? Yeah. I was like, wait, what does he
We
mean,
meet with
AKA?
Hopkins
But
and
no,
request
that's
to see Tituba's charm
still
to
the
determine if
aunt,
it's in any
right?
way magical. Our request is denied, and we're barred from seeing Tituba, who is currently imprisoned in a slimy, decrepit cell. Sansun, however, manages to get permission to treat the town's sickly children, and while doing so, he confirms that the children are legitimately sick, obviously not under demonic influence. Sadly, our resistance to Hopkins' authority makes him suspect the legitimacy of our troupe. He imprisons Medea and orders the rest of us to put on another play incorporating the burning of a witch as a means of inspiring the audience. Reluctantly, we cooperate, but do so by performing a heavily parodied version of Jean
Oh
Gaunt's
wait,
burning at
I was
the
about to
stake.
say, yeah, isn't
Luckily,
that
it's also
John?
received
But no,
well.
that's just a
When we go
play.
to rescue Medea afterward, we find out that Hopkins used our play as a way of distracting the villagers, while he had Tituba executed at the gallows.
Oh,
By the time we're aware, it's already too late.
dang.
The first sacrifice has been
Yeah,
made.
well, they were distracted,
Abigail
right?
is
Just
horrified, as
went ahead and
Tituba was
did it,
very
right?
kind to her. We return to the Carter home, and Ritska's servants confront Medea about her true identity. She'd been acting strange ever since we ray-shifted. Circe decides to reveal herself and explains her circumstances. She's on our side, so we form a pact with her. In exchange, she stops jamming our contact with Caldea. Our conversation is interrupted when the village gets attacked by ghouls. of the
Okay,
people Hopkins
so yeah, I'm gonna pause it right here. So it's a good part to pause it at. So actually, I went past 18 minutes, right? Yeah, because that's what I mostly do sometimes. Like if I say I'm gonna do 15 minutes, I'll just go past a little bit more to watch some. But yeah, that's definitely tough though. Yeah, I had that play, and then after that, yeah, just ended up killing her, right? So yeah, I didn't know, that image that I saw was actually, well, I don't know which one was her, but yeah, she definitely was up there, right? But I didn't know that image that I saw at first was going to be the same exact image I'll see later on. Basically showing like, yeah, one of the characters that I just got introduced to was the one of the ones that got hanged, right? So okay, let me see, so I can know, yeah, where I stopped at. So about like, yeah, 21 minutes. But dang, yeah, he just had to come, right? And it was at the worst time too, right? When they was really suspecting her of being a witch and all. So that was just unfortunate, right? But then, yeah, wait, yeah, wasn't that, yeah, Abigail's fault too? Wait, let me see. Oh no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't her fault. Cause yeah, she was saying, yeah, you shouldn't carry out this ritual. Cause I was about to say, yeah, isn't that some of her fault? Cause yeah, the reason why, what was it, Tituba was even caught or whatever, because of that, what was it, the toy that she had under her bed, right? So no, I just thought, no, she just told them to stop it though, right? But still, yeah, it was just still unfortunate. Yeah, it wasn't her fault, but yeah, it was just still unfortunate, just under her bed at the wrong time too, right? But overall, yeah, I'm definitely liking this, right? So yeah, most of the time, like, yeah, something like Salem, right? Something as simple as a name like that, literally, it will revolve around that. And basically, yeah, that's what we're looking at now, right? It's literally revolving around this area, right? This Salem, right? Um, so yeah, I like how they do that, right? Like, yeah, they have the name and it like literally revolves around it, right? Um, but oh no, well no, you can see her eye. Okay, never mind. It's just yeah, the way how I looked at it from here and then looking at the what I guess the manga here, right? It was just looking different. Or let me see. Yeah, so you could um okay, well yeah, no, never mind. No, you can just okay. I just thought it was different, right? Um I was just want to find out what else here. And actually, no, I have seen this version of Abigail before, um, but I didn't know that. Yeah, she literally was like, gradually transforming into this, right? Going from some innocent little girl to, going to whatever she was here, right? But overall, that's pretty much about it. So yeah, Rome. Yeah, I need to remember that because yeah, I know. Yeah, there's some other gods too, right? That definitely go into the stories as well. Like yeah, if I look at like some other lore video, right? Someone like Raum might pop up somewhere else. Like literally, what was it? Oku, right? I think that's where he popped up, or was it Seraph? That he I remember seeing him somewhere else, right? So yeah, definitely yeah, try and remember these guys, right? Because I know they're definitely important. And most of the time, yeah, like Raum, he's the main reason. Yeah, like why certain things are going on because he's creating this or that, right? And just doing this or that. So yeah, basically gods are the main reason sometimes why yeah all of this even happens in the first place, right? But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's pretty much about it. And yeah, I do like this as well because it's like, yeah, what was he say? The 1600s or something like that, 1700s. So yeah, definitely, like yeah, old, right? And yeah, basically or obviously because they have the witch and then the clothes and all, right? So yeah, I definitely like how yeah, it's like, in the past, kind of, right? But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much about it. So if you guys did enjoy, make sure you like, subscribe again. And y'all see you guys in the next one.